Welcome to the Port Charles Update with your hosts, Mish and Mel.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good. You?
Let's start.
Oh, we tried so hard to make this like, ooh, let's be all enthusiastic. It didn't work. It didn't work. It's okay. So let's just get started and talk about what everybody is talking about this week. So Oscar's story came to an end.
I
Isn't
know,
it
it
crazy
just,
how much in denial I've been? Like, even though we got to this
oh,
week?
so true. But I felt the same. There's a part of me, and we've been talking about this all along. Even though we saw the clues and the direction it was going, I just kept waiting for that last minute change in things. And then when I saw that dream, I have to admit, for a little bit, I was like buying into it hard.
I got confused, but I was like, but no, because Johnny was home that day. It was on, and I was watching it, and I just kept talking to myself, and I'm like, no, that can't be. Who's dreaming? Because like they both were in the room, so I'm like, whose dream is this? And and I just didn't know what to think. But I'm like, but they put commercials saying that it's his final week, so I'm like, he kind of probably has to die. But yeah, like, and the fact that it's the way that they filmed it, I'm like, they never film like this. Like, they never transition from scene to scene like this. So I mean, it's a bit weird, but still, like, part of me was like, well, look at that, like there's all this drama for nothing, and he's actually going to stay. This is kind of crazy. So yeah, it was super heartbreaking when he woke up. Well, he didn't wake up, but like,
But yes, when we realized the truth of what had happened, same. Like I knew the reality is we're smart adults. We knew what was going on, but I just so badly wanted to believe that there was a cure, that he was just
I know.
magically
Well,
cured.
that's the thing. It was tricky because it wasn't just the dream sequence. It was the fact that we had like other people. You know what I mean? Like we had like Sunny and Carly were having their own scene, and we
True.
had Liz talking to her. What's the doctor's name?
I forget right now, but I know who you're talking
Okay,
about.
so talking to Oscar's doctor, and she was like desperately trying to see if she could find something. So that's what made it confusing, is because they were showing like very Oscar centric, like his dream, but then there were all these other storylines that had you confused. You're like, okay, but maybe it's not a dream, because Sunny and Carly were at the hospital and Elizabeth was talking to the doctor. So it was sort of like there was that hope. And I mean, obviously, that's the intent, is to take you on that bit of a roller coaster ride, I think, but also just I guess the point too, and they kind of say it in the show too. It was a way of Oscar letting go, which wasn't
Well,
obvious until the fantasy changed to me, and he was like seeing into the future.
exactly. So that part is when I really, really had to get out of my bubble and believe that this was really happening. I thought it
Yeah,
was a nice twist on things because usually, it's like the us letting go of that person, not the person letting go of the future, the life, the people that surround them.
yes,
So it's quite a different approach that I wasn't expecting, to be honest. And I did like the way that turned out and how he wanted people's path to be perceived, or how he wanted them to live their lives. And when
yeah.
how do you say, like, that last part when he was laying in bed, but like the ghost, quote unquote, the
Oh,
ghost
I
got up and
know.
kissed Joss, tears, just like the ugly cries
It was the
started and
beginning
it
of all the
intermit.
cries.
Oh, yes, all the different realms of ugly cry.
But I love their scene together, that she felt it and she heard him talk, and then you had Kim, who felt something,
Yes.
and then we had Cam, who switched his
Cam.
order at the moment. So it was just like
Oh,
three little
oh.
things. Obviously, Cam's was a little less like dramatic in a sense, from like Joss's experience to Kim like suddenly being awoken. And then there was him who just sort of switched his order and ordered Oscar's favorite at that moment.
I loved it because it was every part of it was indicative to who it was. Like, Cam was his buddy. And even though you know
Yeah.
he's going to be sad, it was very like light and silly and playful, as I thought the angle they were taking. But I have to admit that Cam is the one. I mean, Joss was outstanding. Her performance, everybody's performance was
It
outstanding,
was so good.
without a doubt. But when Cam tried to be strong in front of his mother and then closed the door, like, I don't know if he went into like the hall or wherever he went into, and then he sank to the ground. There's something about Cam, because we see him as, like we've said, his mom treats him like an adult. He acts very much like an adult. He's very much the strong one. He's there for Joss. He's there for everybody around him. So to see him break down was so hard for me.
It was because I think you touched on it. I think part of his identity is this strong kid. And again, whether it's real or not, I think that in his mind, he is the big brother. He is this protector of his mom because he does see himself that way. And this
Yes.
kind of has nothing to do with Elizabeth's style with him. It's just I think he's just for so long I don't think he's comfortable with being taken care of because he's the person who takes care
Mm,
of everybody else, or at the very least feels that he is. Like he's protecting his
yes.
mom, is how he sees it, and he is there for his brothers, and he's been sort of, I guess you could say, man of the house as he tried this week to explain to Franco that he does care about Eden and he is trying to protect him. So yeah, I think it was just really hard for him, and I loved the part where he struggled about what to say to her because he's hurting too, but
Oh,
I don't think he knows or how to say it at all. And then he tries to make it all about her by being like, "Are you okay?" But I just don't think he knew how to process it. And I don't even think it's about being strong for his mom. I just think it's really part of who he is. And I don't think he's comfortable being vulnerable whatsoever.
oh my gosh, I agree with you 100%. And that's what made it so much harder. I can identify a little bit with that. It's just it. I feel for him. I can't even get the words out. I just feel for him.
Oh yeah, and like so talking about them and Franco, so Franco did try to approach Drew. And I mean, I think that anybody watching could see that it's helpful because Franco did lose a daughter. It
Yes.
wasn't his but as he said, it was his daughter. So I think it might have been nice just with Drew being able to sit with Franco before Oscar's passing without having to really just having that innate understanding basically.
And that I did really enjoy that because they are such brothers in the way. I think one of the first things that Franco said was, "Man, you look like hell." And that's a brother
Yeah.
thing to say because they're going through everything, but you also know what you can say. And that at the same token, he was still able to identify with him, even though they don't want to have that thing in common. They do. And Franco's just there for him in a real way. Like Drew said, I don't want to hear another person tell me that like everything's going to be okay in the end.
Oh, for sure. And it's just like, I think, but you know what? I just felt like Drew deserved that attention because, look, I
Yes.
love the way it ended. And I think that the way they carried it this week, it doesn't matter what your opinion was before. I just think
Mm.
they did such a good job of having every single person I feel watching move at the same pace. If that makes any sense. Like we were all going along and feeling everything at the exact same moment. And I mean, it's just that I just find that the way that they told his story different. Like I feel like maybe I understand why they did it in the way that they did, but I just felt like throughout all this time, did you feel like there were just sprinkles of Oscar's storyline? It was such a serious one, but it wasn't
Yes.
necessarily like a focal point. Like I just feel like I don't know if it's just me, but did you feel like the Mike story was told more consistently?
Oh, good observation. I do. I find that Mike's story was brought very much to the forefront when he was on, and just how everything just changed and evolved, and what that story was from beginning to end. And I do agree, there was parts of it that just didn't seem, and maybe that's why we didn't think it would happen right away.
Exactly. It was just the way that it was paced so far. Like the pacing
Hmm.
of this week was amazing because I feel like we were finally all in sync. But
Yes.
prior to this is exactly why I didn't see it happening because it almost felt like this was happening in the background, and then we get all the commercials saying it's happening this week. And I kind of wonder, was that intentional to make us feel that? Because he was living with it for a long time and it was sprinkled kind of here and there under the radar. And then everything just sort of sneaks up on you, which is sort of the reality. They've been living this, like Kim has been living this for years, obviously silently and by
Hmm.
herself, like knowing this. And then all of a sudden it just kind of creeps up on you really suddenly. So part of me wonders if it was the way that they paced it was actually intentional, trying to get us to maybe feel it in the
Feel
way
it?
that was the most real in a way, like kind of being blindsided by something we knew was coming,
Hmm.
just like everybody else living it. Like it's coming, you're preparing for it, but you can never actually be really ready.
Oh, I feel, they're so good with their storylines that I would definitely vote. I didn't think about it in that way or from that perspective, but as I replayed in my mind, I can see how that really plays true to the end of the story.
Because I know I'm asking a lot here and I don't think you'll remember, but like I just wonder if you recall like the attention given to the Stone and Robin storyline, if you remember it being told really consistently till the end, or if it was sprinkle,
Like,
sprinkle, sprinkle, then sudden.
I only remember the
Okay.
end. I don't remember. It was too long ago. Teenage years was quite some time ago for me.
But yeah, so I mean, like, I think that before it might have, the pacing might have been odd. It's like whenever they show the Oscar storyline, it was intense, 100%. It was very intense, and you could feel it like every time they got bits and pieces of news. But I guess that was the thing. There was this anxiety because we didn't actually know what would happen. We keep seeing his appointments, we keep seeing that he was sick, but we just sort of didn't know the pacing of it. Like, is he going to go quick? Is he going to go slow? Like, everything was just sort of like, for me anyways, that's how it felt. Like, I never really knew what was going to happen. And he was just shown like here and there. But I just felt like throughout the storyline, Drew didn't really get that moment. He's either taking care of Kim,
True.
or we saw a lot of Oscar with Joss, which is fine. It's their love story. And you know, like he had his own storyline separate from his mother. But it was nice to see him with Franco. And it was nice to see Drew kind of like have his own moment a little bit. Obviously, he had it afterward, but just up until this time, I felt like he didn't really get to process anything.
I agree. Oh, no, he did a good job. I liked it.
Yeah, it was so it was so good. It was so well done, and I think like a lot of people agree with that. I think a lot of people spent the week crying. So Philip 1983 said, "Best stage show ever. Well done, kiddo. You will be so missed." Like for sure. And I mean that's it. Okay. I have some good ones. So just a few on just what the experience was like watching it. So Teresa Basso said, "Couldn't stop crying. What a great episode today. Oscar, you will be missed. Kudos, GH, very well done." And it really was. Like the past few days was really well done. It's just that like we'll talk about this afterwards, but I mean like the day that he died and they were processing the death, it was like I kind of wish that they only did that because they tried to intersperse some Shiloh stuff.
Oh gosh,
and I was just like kind of pointless. I don't care. Like I'd rather just like kind of stick with Oscar at this point. Then there was Cine Patty said, "One of the best goodbye stories ever." And it really is. Like you pointed out, it was extremely unique. Like I think that the last unique goodbye was Nathan. Like I've never seen such a goodbye funeral. Well, that was a funeral of what they did for Nathan. So she was saying they should win an Emmy. So this is something. So this is the one that like I was trying to that I'm a little excited about this comment. Okay.
Okay.
So Missy 1962 said, "It was sad and beautiful. With GH, the same actor has a habit of coming back as someone new. Oscar's dad was a twin. Who knows what the future holds?"
Oh, mind blown.
So the thing what I thought about, like, this is really interesting, like her thought, and I was thinking something similar because like okay, so the guy, the actor who plays Oscar, he's really young, he's really talented, he sings, so like you know, good luck to him. I think he might have like other projects he wants to do, but like a lot of the other adult actors who've been, let's say, on Steve Burton and Bradford's podcast, a lot of them talk about having been on when they're young and then sort of coming full circle and coming back a little bit later and really like you know and appreciating it and enjoying it. And it would just be really funny because Oscar's really young, so could you actually imagine if years from now he showed up as another character? Because it would be really cool because he'd be reminiscent of Oscar. Like who knows what that would be like. There's one thing if he actually does come back as a twin at some point in time, but imagine just like we have this young guy because it was a you know like a teenage love storyline, but could you imagine in years down the road the
Oh
actor just
my
comes back?
God.
Because it's so different from when they did it with, let's say, Emily Quartermain. She dies and then like her twin showed up, but it's like she was an adult, so like she comes back looking exactly the same. So could you imagine the transition from this teenager to just this like man who shows up years later?
I have goosebumps because at this point in time, I picture like Joss and Cam, you know, together and they've built a life and there's all this stability and then somebody shows up.
Right? And that's the thing. He may not be somebody that they explicitly say is
Exactly.
Oscar, but it would be something that a lot of the audience would know. So, like, again, who knows what will happen with the actor? But yeah, I just thought that was so interesting.
Okay, what did you think about the whole Lila Edward integration?
I thought it was really, I kind of, well, first of all, when you see the hairstyle, you right away know it's Lila. And I had like
Yes.
goosebumps when I saw her. And I mean, thinking back about Oscar's journey, the first thing, like to kind of get to know his family, and they did reference it, I think, in today's episode. But the point is, Joss had given him like Edward Quartermain's like either biography or tell all or something. So
Okay.
in a way, it kind of makes sense that it would be like Edward and Lila.
I like that he said, who are you? But I feel like I know you. Like it was something a little
Yeah,
bit
it's
kind
like,
of
do I
funny
know
because
you?
he
Yeah.
doesn't know her.
No, but if anything, he's seen the pictures. Like, I mean, if you, because that's the point. He was trying to get to know this Quartermain family before he was
Yeah.
like formally introduced, and he did read. I would have assumed he had seen the pictures or anything at this point, but it was. I don't know. I liked it. Obviously, like just about anybody, because I mean, it's sad, but so many Quartermains have passed, and just about anyone could have came. Like, because even Monica referenced Alan. She's like, Alan, take care of our grandson. So it's like even
Yeah.
Alan could have been there, but I just think like now remembering him like looking at the cover of a book, and I think I remember him referencing like Edward and trying to like learn about him because I guess he was maybe the most famous or infamous even and
Yes.
head of the family. So I guess in a way that might have been the Quartermain to be the most sort of familiar to him.
Okay, so yeah, I liked it too. I very much enjoyed bringing back, but when I felt it too, I felt like Monica's husband. What do we call him? Alan.
Alan, what do we call it?
Alan.
I mean, by his name, preferably. I don't know, Alan.
I thought it would be him. So I was surprised with Lila and Edward being there, but they're such iconic characters
I
that I
know it was.
understand how
It
why
was.
they want to tie them in.
Yeah, and you know what? They just have a style that's way more recognizable because they were short. Because
Exactly.
like I mean, both the actors have passed in real life, and I mean, I guess if Alan came, it would have they would have shown him and all that stuff. But I just found there was something more goosey and more like really like cool and dramatic about having it have been Edward and Lila.
I agree.
So that was really cool. It's just really sad though because he's like the youngest Quartermain to have gone.
Oh, I know.
Oh, and I think the most heartbreaking part was when Drew brought him out.
Oh my gosh, it was just like it just kept getting like more intense. Like I couldn't take it
Yes.
anymore.
Oh my, it was really intense. And just to talk about like how the story was portrayed. So Bon Bruce said it really depicted truth. Whoever wrote this segment had to have experienced the trauma in order to portray it in its truth. It moved me beyond. And I think that's what it was. They really touched everybody. Like I said, let's ignore like the pacing of the story beforehand. Whatever they did this week, I feel really brought a lot of the fans together. Like they really created an event, which I didn't know was going to happen because of the way the story was going. Like the way that
Same
the story was
here.
going, I was like, how are they going to do justice to this loss? Because we're not giving it loads of attention. Like it's this heavy storyline that gets dropped in the middle of all the others. But in the end, they absolutely did justice to Oscar and really putting an end to his story.
Well, I think it's what you said. Like the more I think about what you said, if it falls true, they paced it in a way that it's based on somebody who had experience with this and who had knowledge and life experience in this disease, and that yes, it does kind of creep up on you. And sometimes you think everything's perfect, and sometimes things go to I'm going to use not the but it goes down the tubes. Okay, I'm like, how do I say
Real
this
sad.
without
Yeah.
swearing? And then all of a sudden everything is just all about it all the time. It's all consuming. Everybody is all hands on deck. And that's exactly what they did.
That's
And
true.
then
That's true.
everybody feels it at the same time. Everybody's going, you're spreading the word of that person being gone. So it was really, and maybe that's why it caught us and a lot of people so cut us so deeply because, like it or not, we've all experienced something along those lines.
Hmm.
So it was pretty intense, and I agree with you. Like it really did do it justice. I mean, what we spent most of the week on this, and there were other sub storylines, but this really dominated everything and really put it to such a beautiful close. A sad
It
close, but a beautiful close.
It did. And that's the thing that I've just never known a goodbye story like this. And oh, this was really sweet. So Mel Nada 161 said, OMG, I'm 57 years old and I've been watching this on my nanny's lap since I was a 10-year-old girl.
Oh
This
wow!
was one of the best weeks of amazing actor storylines and emotion I've ever seen. I cried my eyes out. I mean, have heave ho booing tears in the ugly face. Kudos to GH and the writers. And that's what I mean. Like they created an experience.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So
It's been
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it was just an amazing week. And then today, like when I saw Drew standing alone after Kim had left, it's
Oh
like that's also the hard reality. It's like everybody rallied, everybody was in the foyer the night before, and then there's
yes.
Drew alone. And not, that's the hardest part is like, so now like you said, everybody rallies at the end, and now he's just there quietly alone.
Oh,
And
it
then
was.
Shiloh shows up, but like, oh,
Oh. I could
oh
not
my gosh.
believe what he had to say. I could not believe that he had the cojones to say what he said to Drew in that time. What did he think he was going to accomplish?
I don't know what the hell he was going there for. On the one hand, I thought, are you showing up there because you know for a fact that like he's in a vulnerable state? Are you trying to recruit him? Are you
Oh.
trying to get like Oscar's inheritance? Because now we're understanding that money plays a big role in some of his targets. But then he
Mm-hmm.
brought up the memory thing. It's like, what? You're concerned about Drew's memory coming back now? Like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know what his intentions were. All I know is that he went there and kind of just stirred things up and there was nothing genuine about it. And I don't think he cares. Like, he goes places and says things and gets horrible reactions. And it's like, he really just doesn't seem to care.
No, well, it's like his scene with, well, one of the scenes with Sam, but the one that, the one that I wrote the most comments on that were less like blech, ew, puke, was when he went knocking at her door and she was just kind of playing like she was out of it. And she probably was a little out of it. And he
Yeah,
said
it's
something
Scout's
like,
brother, you
right?
know?
And he said, like, you're not too pleased to see me. And this is what I wrote. I go, WTF, is she supposed to throw a parade every time he comes through the door? Major eye roll.
It was really gross him saying that. I admit, he's like, you're not happy to see me. I was just like, what? I thought this was like about her and her like growth and development.
No, it's about everybody who's in awe of him and that he is, you know, they might as well throw rose petals before he walks. You know, like it's a whole ego
Well,
thing.
but even just what he said to Sam about Oscar, that he's like, well,
Oh,
the dead don't want us to mourn, so this is just like about you. Like almost
oh,
like she's like the sadness she feels or the love that she felt for Oscar. It's like, you're just making this about yourself. And I'm just
exactly. So
like, oh my gosh.
I wrote about that because when he said that, I giggled like a sarcastic giggle, and I'm like, I wrote that. Thanks for the advice. I'm over it now. Like he just basically said, "Don't be sad," and you're like, "Oh, okay. Let's
She
move on
should have
now."
totally answered something like that. And the fact is, like, she never even look like she doesn't even look at him like he has any good ideas or that she's comfortable
I
with anything
know.
he says. And he doesn't seem to catch on. Like when she's saying, "You want me to give you dirt on my family?" And like, I just don't understand like how he doesn't see how much she hates him. Like,
I
because it's not like she hides it deep, deep down, which is why I laugh when I think about Carly when she's like, I don't think she's convincing because I think anybody with eyes doesn't think she's convincing. And I don't think she's doing the best job. Like the funniest
no, I
part this
don't
week is
either.
when she touched base with Sunny and she used that one line where she's like, well, I don't think it was a total waste. Like it kind of was because you
It
had like one
was.
thing to do. The one thing that basically is the only reason you're staying there is to get her pledge. Beyond that, like I don't know. You don't need to be in there to take him down. Like if
No, you
anything, she could
don't.
be working with Willow. But what I was kind of hoping for, I was sort of hoping that Michael would have been quick enough
Mhm.
to ask Sam to also get Willow's pledge.
Right. Good point.
But I don't know if her pledge is like in Beecher's corner.
Or maybe they keep all the. I mean, who knows where they keep all the pledges? I mean, I thought it was in the lighthouse,
Let's
and
get
apparently it's just
administrative
right in
about
there.
it. Let's get
They're
before
color
we.
coded. Jeez, for crying out loud! What do those colors mean?
I have no idea based on how juicy the secrets are. Like it just really got me. Like when he was just like looking at his drawers, like if you want to know if something's missing, why don't you check the files you suspect rather than
Exactly.
stare at all your files as if something is going to talk to you? But he was like, "What's your secret?" Like he was just saying something about secrets, and I'm like, "Oh
Oh.
my gosh!" Like you sound like a teenage girl. Like if you love secrets so much, why don't you just go like enroll in a high school and join like an all girls clique or something? Because it was just like, I love secrets. Is this like the reason for your whole cult? You love secrets so damn much. I was just like, oh my gosh, you're so annoying. Oh, I just
He
hope he
very
stays
much
away
is.
from Kim. Like, it's one thing to go harass Drew,
Oh.
but I'm like, please stay away from Kim. Like, the poor girl felt that because I had predicted and hoped that maybe she would have stayed at the Quartermains, but I mean,
Same. I
she
really
just,
thought she would.
I was just a little surprised, and poor Drew kept trying to get her to stay. But I
Yes.
have to admit, like, I gasped when I like saw her door.
Me too. I was not expecting that. I mean, the whole thing was just so beautifully done. We didn't expect any of it. But when she saw that and she kind of like crouched down and oh, it was just too much. And when Julian showed up, that was perfect. And he said, you know, like, I know you didn't want me here, but I wanted to be here and I hope that's okay.
Yeah, like, and I mean, like, I think it's important that like he kind of be included in this
Me
storyline
too.
at some, at some point. And that's the thing in that dream sequence, Oscar saw his mom moving on and getting engaged.
Yes.
We just don't know to who because they were like a little threesome standing side by side, and it's like we just don't know. But, and I get it. It's really hard for Kim because I understood what she was saying. She needs to go back to her apartment. It's where she had a home with Oscar. But part of me wonders, like, maybe Drew should also be there to go through his room. And I mean, I'm not saying that's what she was doing that day. She was just trying to go home. But I felt like just listen to Drew and just stay for a little bit longer. But at the very least, Julian is there and present with her to kind of take that step, because that's horrible.
Oh, it's absolutely terrible. And I agree with you, Drew should be there for the room. But that first moment of going into your place, you should do it with somebody who cares about you, who'll
Well, I'm
support
glad he
you.
showed up. Yeah,
Yes.
so glad he showed up.
All
So
right.
I think you're right about one of the predictions you made, because you predicted that we always forget to talk about Jordan. talk about like talk about like sprinkling
So
storylines.
true.
This girl is like dying, getting sicker and sicker. We keep forgetting to mention her, but but I think you're right in the sense that she's clearly needing a donor, and now we have Oscar's passing. So we had talked in the past, and my position on it was that I felt like for the Ashford family storyline, it would have been interesting for Stella to be the donor, because it would have been interesting to see how that dynamic would work. And because we talked about like how in the past in General Hospital, like transplants are really like emotional. There's a lot of connectedness to it. So it's like we've
Yes.
never forgotten BJ, of Maxine and BJ. And then there was that connection with Carly and Elizabeth. They might not always get along, but there's still that deep respect for her having, for like I don't even know what was donated, but the point,
I know
but the point is,
trying so hard to remember.
trying to be sensitive about the whole thing. So that's the thing. And I was just like, okay, I just thought like there's usually some meaning, to it all. And I just thought it would have been meaningful if Stella did it. But the more I think about it, I'm like, Jordan and Kim, they both had one son.
Oh.
They both had an only child. They both experienced, for brief periods, obviously, like raising their kid on their own, and then having like other people being introduced into their family, introduced into their lives. So part of me wonders, maybe that would be interesting, because then it's like the Ashfords are creating this connection with the Quartermains, obviously with Kim as well. But like, I wonder, maybe it could be an amazing moment if that does happen. And if it does happen, I would definitely want there to be this moment with Kim and Jordan, because maybe they have a little bit more in common. Like, obviously, TJ is still around, but they do know what it is to be like partial single moms for certain periods, just them and their child, and having a son. And so I'm just wondering if there could be some bonding there with that. And I mean, obviously there's that connection with Curtis and Drew.
Absolutely. The thing is, I watch a lot of Grey's Anatomy, and from what I've seen
You
on
don't
that
think
medical
there's a
show,
match? What if
I
there's a
think
match?
they usually have them on the respirator and then take them off
Right?
and rush them. So now I'm like, shoot, he died in his bed. How is this going to work, medically
I did
speaking,
think
on
about
TV
that,
science?
because then if he becomes a donor, that would not be super real.
Right?
Not that it needs to be. It just has to
I
be like
know.
TV medical real. It doesn't have to be
But I
real.
did think about, I'm
So
like,
then never mind. I don't
I
think that
know.
prediction's coming true. I don't know.
But that is Grey's Anatomy science versus GH science, where people come back from the dead. There's, a whole bunch of different altercations that happen in the lab. Like, who knows how they can make this happen? But I still think it's a possibility. He's not
I don't
buried yet.
know.
Too soon. Rewind. Take it back.
Too soon. Oh my gosh. But I am excited for some scenes with the kids. Like, I'm excited to see some scenes with like Cam and Joss. Oh my gosh, we forgot about this, because like Oscar had made some arrangements. We finished their song. So maybe that prediction is going to come true. Her Robin moment.
Oh, yes. I really think that's going to happen.
I think she's 100% going to try to honor Oscar by performing his song.
Oh,
Because I think that, because
Sorry,
isn't that sort of the incentive? She gets the song, so that means she has to perform, and it's not going to go smooth.
No, it's not going to go smooth, because let it be a recording and he's the one who sings, or that Cam's going to come up on stage and sing with her.
No, I think he's
That's
going to
definitely
save
going to be.
her. I think she
Oh,
tried to perform it, and then he's
yes.
going to come up and save her. And like that might be the beginning of maybe even him opening up and caring for her, and sort of that bond.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And I love that we're speaking more and more about the nurses' ball, because it is coming up. And I liked Lucy's conversation with the GA.
Yeah. Oh my God, me too. I'm like, she really deserved to hear those comments where she's like, my talent is sitting criminals and run behind bars. She's like, you also put people who are not criminals behind bars. I was like, that was the best. That was the best. Those are the moments where Lucy shines, unlike when she has like a hissy fit over Kevin and Ava.
I can't even handle it, but I definitely will give my gold star to Lucy for the funny of the week because when she said catching criminals, my comment was you sure live in a fake bubble, lady.
I know. I'm like, what criminals have you caught since actually coming here?
Oh gosh, I don't know. And then synchronized swimming, and I love what Lucy said. I don't think we're gonna install a pool and take out all the donuts.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was awesome.
But I love that she so not only did she get a little roasted by Lucy in that little interaction, but then she gets confronted by Chase. So accusing the DA of kind of like being up Shiloh's butt.
I like you said in such a sweet voice.
It's a technical term when you're close with a cult leader. You're up his butt.
I think that I'm trying to gather my thoughts here.
So tired. Okay.
So, oh man. Okay, so Chase and Valerie, they're really like a dog with the bone and really want to find Christina. I wish they would shift
not
their
the
focus.
brightest dogs, clearly, because
well, that's what I'm saying. Like their focus
but
should be on Shiloh and taking down DOD, not a missing person that everybody seems to be fine that she's missing.
no one thinks she's missing. Like that's the thing. Like she's not missing to no one. She's not like oh my god. I mean, I know she is missing and she absolutely was kidnapped, but you don't know that. So it's just like you're making yourself look like fools. And it's just like Chase is such a rule follower. Like, I didn't see him bending over backwards and using his little police resources to try to take Shiloh down. He didn't do any of that crap. But he's like, let's break the rules and find Christina. And I'm like, I don't know where this is going. So wait a minute. So he breaks the rules, but then he's gonna like tell Willow, well, if you do that and you break the rules, I can arrest you, basically. But it's like he breaks the rules and it's okay, but like Willow can't. But I love how like when they were talking and she's like, I want to help Christina. I was like, oh my gosh, you're giving this guy like the information he needs because you're confirming the fact that like the family did take Christina. But I love how she's staring at him. He's like, so you want to take her and give her back to DOD? And like I love how she was just like, I don't understand your plan and I cannot believe my man is a dum-dum. Like that's what I felt like her face was saying when she was staring at him. Like, are you for real right now? Because she was just like, because I feel like she was kind of like, do you need me to like reflect back to you what you're doing? Because this is one of those things where you didn't look in the mirror before you left the house and you just don't know how stupid you look.
Well, it's like the conversation we had about Chase. He's so very black and white. There's no gray area. So it's like he's blinded by the facts, like you said, of what's good and what's not. But exactly that. She's absolutely right. So he's going to go save her and do what exactly? Save her from what and bring her where? What good is he contributing?
So, okay. So listen to this. So Lucy Arojo 64 says, I'm really surprised that Chase, given what he knows about Dawn of Day and Willow's experience, that he wouldn't let this go. His obsession over this is not sitting right with me. So this is part of her comment that she sent. And it's like, no, I don't understand. Like you literally have a personal reason to take Shiloh down and you've opted to not use any of your resources. When you talk about the DA, like she's protecting Shiloh. Well, who are you protecting? Like, I don't even understand. And then you're going up to Michael and like how, like, cause like we were saying, you're insisting this person's missing when nobody in her family is really attesting to that. And I just don't know what the point was to go up to Michael and be like, okay, well, Michael, like if like you didn't take your sister's in danger. Is like, she's not, like we talked to her. Like it's just so dumb. Like he's trying to like make him feel alarmed about the situation. But it's just like, it's not working. I'm like, you still don't see how stupid this is? And everything just came to a head today, which was hilarious when Valerie was set up to follow Alexis.
I freaking, because I didn't know what they were going to do. Like, they're going to sneak her. How are they going to sneak her out? Is it in the trunk? Because you remember Alexis mentioned in the trunk of a car, blah, 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 we will find a way. And then when they both came out, because I was watching it on my phone, I had to squint to see what actually happened to make it bigger.
But it was so funny because when she was talking to the psychologist earlier, she kind of like was like, oh, they're going to be following my car. So I thought she was going to switch cars with someone. Not only did she switch cars, she switched complete like personality. Like she, I don't even have the words. Like
her disguise.
Her disguise. Like I don't know what they switched. They switched bodies. I don't know.
It shocked you. It took you by surprise. You didn't even know what the heck happened.
It's like a body transplant. I don't know, but it was hilarious.
Freaky Friday.
It was hilarious, and like Diane was so into it. She was so into it. Oh my god, I didn't know what was gonna happen when they got caught. Because like, what is she gonna do? Like, what's Diane gonna say? Like, how is she gonna explain her wig? But then Diane did what Diane does, and it was just so epic. I loved it. But like, what pissed me off with Val? Okay, so like, let me try to wrap my head around what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a cop. Good for you. But like. But like what's confusing is so like we said, they decide to break the rules and they decide to like do this private secret investigation by like going to see Alexis at her house. And I just didn't understand. Like Val walks in, she's like, Mr. Corinthos. And I'm like, you lived in Carly's house. Like Carly's your first cousin. Like you chill with Bobby like all the time. Like you guys go out together. Like, what do you mean, Mr. Corinthos? Like, it didn't, like, make any sense because they obviously have way more connection than that. I didn't understand that.
It's, somebody needs to remind them of all the connections they have. I think that sometimes and she's new. Let's remember, this is new Val.
But for all we know, she still lives at Carly's. Because the concept is everyone was living at her house while she was with Sunny. So Bobby was living at her house. Lucas was living at her house. Well, now he's living with Brad, obviously. But Val was living there.
I just mean like she's the new Val. Like the new
But I feel like maybe that's why they changed things. Because it's like, yes, it's a new person, like new actor. I don't know. I find she's a new actress, so she gets away with different things. Like I don't know, because I do feel like it's a different person. Well, because she isn't. I can't talk about this. You know, I just noticing something a bit off with Val lately. Oh my! I can't believe we're gonna publish this one. Okay, so Elena Koppel said, I have to say she makes a much better Val. Although I love the original, she was beautiful and sweet and caring and a very good actress. This young lady is more to the point and more tough and believable as a cop. Didn't I say that? I totally agree with that. Because you know what? The first Valerie was introduced as an extra Spencer. Like she was introduced as part of Luke's exit storyline. So she was introduced as a Spencer, and then she evolved and she decided to be a cop after she was like, I'm into Dante and I slept with Dante. I want to be a cop too. And then she became a detective like Dante. So that was kind of interesting. You can catch a career like that.
I love when you're tired. You're so funny.
I'm so tired because I'm saying really crazy things. I'm like, we have to end this soon. So yeah, so like I find like this Val, she came in as a cop and not so much past Val. It's too weird. What I'm saying
I
is
get
too
it.
weird.
I follow. I pick up what you're putting down. I get this. I understand.
Oh my gosh, do you want to like take a minute to be like to talk about Sam's like fail? So were you not happy to see Milo?
So happy. He's such a cutie. I missed him.
I missed him so much. I didn't know how much until I saw him at the door. And what was so cool, I don't know why, there was just something so badass about it. I don't know what, maybe it's because I thought like he would do something. And there's been so much of like not doing anything that I was like, yeah, a doer is here.
I think you're thinking about his act Magic Milo, but that's not.
I didn't see this going in this direction. Okay. But this is why I love GH, because like I can still be in shock like when I'm watching. So like when he came out, I was like, oh, and I got like so excited. I'm like, I'm excited to see Milo. I'm excited, like you know what I mean? I'm excited to see an existing character on the show, and I'm just like, there was just something so special about him being inserted into this storyline. But I'm like, she still can't get the job done. Like he talked on and on and on and on. And like when Sam went in there to look for everything, I mean, at first I was like, can you like focus?
I know.
Get what you gotta get. But in a way, I was like, okay, at least she found her file, and then she sees the picture, and then she'll figure out that there was a recording. But I don't think she figured out that there was a camera in the house. I don't feel like that's the conclusion she came to.
Me
I said
neither.
the conclusion she came to was like, I don't know, he took a picture of that. He's in the picture.
Exactly. I didn't feel that her reaction, her facial reaction, did not, equal, hey, I was being videotaped that whole freaking time.
No, she ran to Jason and was like, he has a file on me. It's like,
Oh, I can't handle it.
He video recorded you. Like, where do you think the picture came from? Like, I'm so at a loss right now. But like, I love like how like she failed miserably. And then she goes to meet with Milo and she debriefs with Sunny. And I think I said this earlier, but she was like, it wasn't a waste. And it was just like, I love how she felt the need to say that. And I like how she felt the need to like let the audience know, I know that I got sidetracked on my mission. I know I started looking at other files. She's like, I got a little distracted and I should have stayed focused. I like how she summarized all the fails.
Okay,
Like,
so
how many more times does she need? Well, a third time, because now she wants to be in the trust so she can get into the
all
filing cabinet again.
right.
I'm like,
This is insane.
like, again, I'm going to refer her back to taking Christina out of DOD. I just want to
Right?
refer Sam back to that moment. You called him, you did a little chitty chat at the bar, and then, and then Jason came and took her out with people in the house. You're telling me, like, hello, that's a template for a plan. Like, that's a plan.
And
What are
they're
you
trying
doing?
to get a piece of paper out. He got a whole freaking body out. They need a file folder.
I was just like, I thought Milo was gonna like go up there and do it, but like, yeah, it's just not going well for her. things aren't
It's
going
not.
super
And I'm
good.
losing like some interest and respect in the character for them. I know it'll come back and it's just short lived. But I wanted to just kind of do, what do you call it? A segue. Is it a segue? So she was so
Okay.
enamored with the
Yeah.
file cabinet. But a lot of people, we spoke about the kitchen last week, and there was still so many comments about the kitchen that Maurice Bernard made mention to it on Twitter that he was so shocked that people had so much to say about the kitchen.
It's a beautiful kitchen. Not everybody has access to a beautiful kitchen. And everyone's all up in the kitchen. And then Sunny was even cooking in it. And I was like, this is so good. This is such good TV.
The kitchen's
People
the
are
heart of the home. You know?
in the back door, out the back door. They coming from another door through the inside kitchen. It was just amazing. So much happening in that kitchen. It's a beautiful kitchen.
Agreed.
But I have to say this. I kind of like wanted to mention this comment more for my own amusement. So Royal SHNM said, "Can this storyline end before Sam sleeps with Shiloh?" I laughed when I read that because I was just like, for real though. Like, I feel like she's like, I don't know, like she's setting herself up in this really weird place that she feels the need to do just about anything.
Yes.
Like, to see it through, and I'm like, you don't have to. Like, sometimes it's okay to quit. Like, you don't have to like finish everything you start.
But here's the thing, she's acting like a DOD person. But like really, not pretending to be. She's like really doing it.
Oh man.
I can't even.
So this is actually really kind of a cool comment. It's actually a comment about, do you remember that like Shiloh bumped into a guy who dropped some books?
Drop
Yes,
some
I
books?
do, Michelle. So
I do. I
okay,
totally
great.
do. Okay.
So Beach Day 84 said, my friend Tyler was the other guy in the scene who dropped the books. Maybe he's onto something.
Cool.
How fun is that? Tell
That's
us
really
more.
freaking
Tell us
cool.
more about his experience.
I
And then
know.
there is Cal11970 said, I'm glad Milo is back. I wish him and Max would come back for good. Me too.
Me too.
I kind of meant like, because we've had a lot of like really big stories, and that's fine. Like, love a story. That's why I watch. But I just wow. But I would love like a little bit of lesser stuff that's not really a story. Like, I would love some Max and Diane moments. I would love some Milo interacting with other people. Like, they've tried putting Milo into stuff, but I just feel like, let's try again.
I know, keep trying. We love it. Keep going.
Yeah, because at one point he had a storyline with Lulu, like when she lost his memory and she was all into him and he had been in love with her. And then now it's kind of nice seeing his connection with Christina. It's nice seeing Christina, because that's the thing. They do have a history. They've known her since she was a kid.
That's
so I just feel like I would love it if Milo got a little bit more involved. Maybe worked a little bit more with Sam, and because she needs it. Like,
gosh, she needs
she's a
help.
chaperone. She's a chaperone.
She needs grown up.
So yeah, I don't know in what capacity, whether it's as Magic Milo on the regular, but I just feel like it would be really cool. Wait, didn't he like leave the business to do like personal training?
Yes, totally.
Hello, bring him in there, personal train people.
personal
Anyways,
trainer. Christina becomes a yoga master. They could open up a studio together, a whole little Zen garden in Port Charles.
that would be really, really interesting. So, what did you think about Christina's scenes today?
I was wavering between, is she just saying what she needs to say to get out of there, or if she believes what's actually happening?
So the reason why I don't think she's saying what she needs to say is, so at
Mm-hmm.
first I was like, oh, this all sounds really nice, and we know her, so that's exactly why
Yes.
you would think, is she just saying this? But then I was like, okay, good. We're not gonna like gloss over this story and make her better right away, especially when she said, but what if I go back to DOD? Can you handle that? So it was.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that she's still stuck and she's like, I'm not in this position because of Shiloh, tells me she's picking up on something,
She
but she's
is.
still like, so what I liked about it was that she's gotten to this place where she's realized maybe there is an imbalance, and maybe I have pushed my family away, and maybe I can just have more balance with DOD and
True.
with my family. This is what she thinks now, because obviously she doesn't understand what's actually happening, and he doesn't
Right.
have her best interest at heart. So that was really interesting to me, the direction it's going in. And I was kind of glad when she said something really messed up about DOD, because I'm like, okay, because it would have been weird if she was like perfectly okay. So I think that's where
Exactly.
she's at. I think right now she's where, like, I can go back and maybe I can try to like be more sensitive to your concerns, and maybe I did reject you and I was focusing too much on myself. But I'm very much excited to see what will come from her talk from Willow.
Oh, me too. I can't wait to see if it's going to hit home with her.
And I wonder what's going to happen to Willow, because Michael warned her today that this could affect your
Mm-hmm.
relationship, that you're putting your relationship on the line, because she's not going to rat out where Christina is.
Oh, no. Heck no.
And I was kind of glad that she had that conversation with Julian. I just feel like if you have a secret relationship with Julian, well, not a relationship, but like, it's, you definitely don't advertise whatever connection you have to Julian. I just felt like, well, can't you just say he's a cult leader and I know this? Like I mean, I know
Exactly.
that they have an understanding, and he's quick and he can understand what she's saying, and she did a really good job of trying to explain herself by saying, does every sinister person walk around acting that way? And he got the message, but I just felt like there's room in your weird relationship to have said, like, he's a really bad guy and I know this from experience, so keep Brad away. I
I
just felt like
agree.
that could have been said a little bit more blunt. And I
Oh,
do have to
yeah.
say, one thing about the scene with Shiloh and Willow, like it
Mm-hmm.
really irked me when I saw him grab her like that so aggressively.
Yes.
But you know what I thought would have been cool?
What?
Because she said teachers and like people are coming in soon. I would have thought it would have been really cool if Nina had walked in and told him to get off of her.
Ooh, that would have. Oh, what a change in
Right?
dynamic. Yes.
Because, like, you can tell that he was grabbing her really aggressively. You can
Mm-hmm.
tell that he was being really threatening, and to have Nina tell him to back off, meaning it was so powerful that, like, it didn't matter that it was Willow and that she was there to help her. So that would have created a really huge shift. I don't know if she would have used it against Willow, or if it would have led her to kind of be a little bit more sympathetic, like she's a real person with real problems.
Well, now that her opinion of the bullying situation has mellowed, she's not so much in Charlotte's corner, but understanding that how much it's affected Aiden, it may have been able to open up something different. I really like that. I wish I had that. They had done that.
Yeah, so I kind of wish that happened. But so Michael has been getting a little bit more FaceTime with Shiloh this week.
Yes, I like Michael when he gets a little tough.
I liked the comment that he threw back at Shiloh when he was all like, well, would it matter if she came back? Because all you want is what's best for her, right?
I know. It was
I was like,
priceless.
oh, oh. I mean, I like it. I like him. I could have like literally made that sound till the end of the podcast.
I know.
So, but yeah, no, I was really glad that Michael kind of, let him know, like, I know you're creepy, man. Like, I know you're creepy. So stop it. Like that's that's pretty much what was going on there.
um, can I intro the next story topic we're gonna
Yeah.
go into? I love the Scooby Doo crew at the grave. What did you think?
Oh my, but isn't this like everything Ava could have ever wanted?
I know. It was such a Scooby Doo crew. They're just missing a giant dog. I loved
I
it.
know, it was so funny. And I mean, I love like how Franco was like the only person invited who like had not a clue what was going on, and he's just staring at them like, what are you doing? Why are we doing this? And I just love like how Lulu was like taping every single thing. And I'm like, really? Okay. If you're doing an exclusive, you're just going to tape Ava, you're going to tape that interaction, let's say with like Lucy and like Kevin. And it was really fun. I mean, that's really great journalism. And
It's a fast track to journalism. That's what happened.
But yeah, I loved it though. I loved it, and I don't know. Kevin's like super convincing, and because like the whole time, I was like, yeah, Laura's being cool about this, whatever. But like, I don't know if I was there. Johnny was like pretending, and he just put his arm around somebody. I don't know. I don't know. Laura's so good.
Well,
I was jealous. I was like, Kevin, what are you doing?
They all handled it very well. We will get back to that in a second. Before we go to Silly Town, I really did love the contrast between how everything went with Oscar this week in terms of everybody loving him and the appreciation they showed, and then the Scooby-Doo crew putting the dirt and flowers onto the ground and like stepping on them.
Oh yeah.
And really saying the mean evil things. So it was the opposite of like a regular funeral, which I thought as well was very interesting.
It was like an anti-funeral.
Yes,
it was like
I
we're
loved
glad
it.
you're dead party.
Yes, I
Which
love
some regular funerals are, but
yeah.
so, wow. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I love their plan. It looks like it's working. And okay, so Mac was all like angry. Did you
Mac was
catch
all
that?
Mac about it.
I don't know. He was just so like angry and like tough about things, and I was just like, I don't know. It's super attractive.
Okay, I wasn't sure where this was going, but I kind of felt it because I know how you are, and I was like, but it's Mac,
right? And I was like, I don't know. All that gray is so cute. Like you just and
he's
even
an angry
Kevin.
Santa. He's just an angry Santa.
Oh god, gross. And like even like with Kevin, I was like, you're not lame. Like I was afraid he would go. Like I was afraid he'd go back to being like lame Kevin, who like had his backpack chasing Laura, to like that Cassadine Island where he had gotten shot for her and all that. But no, he's kind of stayed kind of cool. Like he has a little edge to him now.
He has an edge. You stole the words right out of my mouth. Definitely came back with an edge.
Yeah, I was like, you're still really handsome. Interesting. Interesting. Right? Yeah.
We should let the listeners know that you're also a huge fan of Liam Neeson. What's his name?
Liam Neeson. I know.
Which also makes me giggle.
I don't know why. I'm just like, I need to watch everything, and I feel like you could save me, like no matter what happens.
No matter where I get
like
to
a relevant MacGyver, basically. And I'm not talking about like the new remake of MacGyver. I'm talking about like the old MacGyver.
Okay, let's get back to Port Charles. I'm sorry, I distracted us.
Sorry. So that's the thing. I just feel like Ava and all of her friends, her new friends, are doing a way better job than whatever Val and Chase are doing. Like part of me wishes that they were at the Metro Court at the same time so we see the contrast between an actual plan that could work and then the two cops in the corner. Let's eat Metro Court food because we're gonna like do an investigation of nothing.
Oh my gosh. Bozo 1 and Bozo 2. Like
yeah, I was so happy when Diane was like talking to her and then like she tells her to get the salted caramel donut like after. I was like, I want a donut. But still, I thought that was really funny. It's like, well, yeah, you can get sued. And what pissed me off a lot was when Val was like, oh, things got interesting. Diane's here. Maybe she's a lawyer for kidnapping her daughter. I'm like, they're friends. Like, are you new? Well, she's new. Like, she's new. She's new. But I'm just
cut her
like,
some slack.
but you're also a cop. Don't you know that they're close? I don't know. I don't even know if that's an actual argument, but still, don't you watch?
Don't you watch the show? Gosh. Did you read the other parts of the script? For crying out loud.
But yeah, I just super love how Sunny just kind of laughed. Like he kind of like allowed the plan to unfold, but then when like it's so Diane, like, oh, I love this, I've always wanted to be a brunette, and then like Alexis like, this is not working for me, and then Sunny just started laughing. It was really funny. But notice that like Sunny was not detected coming in and out.
No, not at all.
I'm just saying that could have been plan A. Just going with Sunny through the like part where you don't get seen. anyways, that was just my thoughts on that. But
Very in-depth observations from my
do you,
partner, Mish.
but I think that like it was really funny watching them swap clothes. I don't know what they swapped, but whatever. I thought that was super, super funny. And I mean, it really paid off because basically it ended with Diane threatening Valerie, which is great.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. The only other thing I kind of wanted to mention that I thought was interesting was I guess like Finn was getting irritated trying to get the ring back from Robert. And I'm like, what a jerk. But then he just asked Liz about Hayden.
I know. So I'm just gonna piggyback onto what you're saying about Max. So when I saw Finn get angry, I was like, "Oh, hi, Finn, you're back."
Right? I don't know.
So I have a problem too. And then yes, when
Yeah.
he asked about Hayden, I was just wondering. Okay, so he wants to talk to her. So his ex-girlfriend, who he doesn't know he's had a kid with, he wants to tell her that he's gonna get married.
I
Like
have
it's
to
weird,
assume
no?
that that's what he wants to tell her.
It's a bit weird.
You left me.
This one will
And
take me.
we were engaged, and I want to let you know that I've moved on. It's like I kind of hope so. Like she left you like a long time ago.
Yeah, I thought that was very
And
bizarro.
yeah, and her leaving you meant like you weren't getting married. So I
But
think you're pretty much free to get married to Anne if you want to.
we also know that if a name is mentioned, maybe if she comes back in person or by
Please.
letter, then she'll bring back the kids,
She
and
come back by
Robert will
letter.
have. No, did I say that?
She come back. Okay.
I mean, she'll
I
write,
tried
not
mailing
like
myself
physically.
before, and it's like never worked. So
I meant physically as the character comes back, or that she just writes a letter saying, I love you, but I'm happy that you're happy type situation. So her name still plays a role, but she's not physically there as her person character. Anywho, she could be the person who brings the wedge. She brings back.
she brings wedge. She's gonna bring a wedge too.
A
It's
child.
amazing.
It's a child
Oh
in the form
wow.
of a wedge. And then Robert has his opening, so it could just create some drama in that whole Robert Anna Finn trio that we didn't really know was a trio. Robert all of a sudden became jealous, and it's super weird.
I would be okay with Finn moving on with anyone else because I just think it would be better for everyone. I
Long
don't know.
term.
I'm sorry. But I really loved Hayden.
Me too. I just remember for a brief
Do
period
you
of time that I
did
didn't
you,
like.
do you even know? I was like, do you even know who Hayden is?
Shush.
I'm a GH expert. Oh my
Sometimes you just
gosh.
gotta let it slide, okay?
I'm sorry.
No, I do know who Hayden is. I wasn't there for Finn and Hayden to be together, but I was there, I think, when she was being Drew's fake wife.
Yes, that was
Yes.
a long,
Okay.
yeah.
See, so I do know. I know some stuff.
Okay, I think I'm ready for the weekend.
I think so. I'm so ready.
It's just yeah. Okay.
When we do this when we're tired, this is going to be an interesting one. We
Yeah.
love ya, people who listen.
Yes. And we're sorry that you had to listen. Have a good weekend.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.